Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmac Technologies, and welcome to Legal Matters. And today is Thursday, and we would like to discuss something which is very, very peculiar. There's a lot of hue and cry about it, but people don't understand it. So, in order to make it more clear, let me invite our guest, Mr. Jeet Bhatt.
Thank you very much, Chandrakant, for introducing me. And yes, I'm going to speak today about the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development Act 2006. And yes, as you said, that this is a very huge topic, and a lot of people are interested in understanding the concept of what is a micro, small, and medium enterprise, and what are the provisions of this act. So I'm going to discuss some of the salient features of this act with you in this session.
Great. So we look forward to it. So for the viewers, micro, small, and medium enterprise is actually referred as MSME, and there is a little bit history in India. So I just covered that. See, when India got independence in 1947, predominantly Indian economy was based on the small scale industry and the agriculture, and this was continuing, and there was no need to make a special provision for a small scale industry. And I think I'm just going in depth little bit before I hand it over to you, Jeet. Is that in 1991, when the economy was opened, there was a lot of funds which were coming from overseas into India, and because of this fund which was available for the industries to set up with their foreign investments, the small companies who are actually busy in the lower segment of the market, they got really a very badly hit. And the government realized that we have overlooked this aspect of Indian economy, because the small industries actually provide up to 40% of exports of India and about 30% of employment opportunities. So if the small segment is eradicated gradually and large industries comes in the picture, then India tend to lose out in a big way. So I think in 2006, government started thinking about it, and this act was passed, which describes the MSME. What are these companies, how they have to function, what are their, what they have get as a credit from the government, what are the legal aspects around it. And so this is just a brief, and it's a very large subject. So let me invite Jeet to briefly tell us what is this MSME Act, because somewhere in the discussion we will have to also understand what are the production based or manufacturing based MSMEs, and what are the services based MSMEs. And I think with limited time we will try to see how much we can cover. But Jeet, over to you.
Yes, Chandrakant. Yes, you nicely put up the brief history and background of how this act came into existence. And you rightly pointed out that micro and small industries are extremely important for the development of the country, especially a developing country like India requires these sectors as much as a large and sector is required. And they are the backbone of the economy, and they around 30% of the GDP is also contributed by these MSME sector. So therefore, this is a very important sector for our economy, and their promotion and development is of utmost importance for the strong economic foundation of country and for the future. And therefore, this act came into existence, and the purpose of this act is for facilitating the promotion, development, and enhancing the competitiveness of micro, small, and medium enterprises, and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. This act came into existence on 16th of June 2006, and it has been in place since last 14 years. And some of the interesting and important features where it defines what is a micro, small, and medium enterprise has been changing continuously throughout from 2006, and recently by way of a new notification which came on 1st of June 2020. Again, it has enhanced the limits of what enterprises would come under a micro, a small, and a medium enterprise. And if I may just point out, the notification prescribes that an enterprise which is engaged in the manufacture or production of goods pertaining to any industry A micro enterprise would be where the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 1 crore and the turnover does not exceed 5 crore. So this is the limit for enterprise to come within the micro enterprise segment, wherein the investment in plant and machinery should not exceed 1 crore. So any investment within the limit of 1 crore, the enterprise, it can be whatever, it can be either a proprietorship, it can be an individual, it can be a company, a private company or a public company, or it can be any association of person registered or unregistered. They can be termed as a micro enterprise and get benefit under the act if their investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 1 crore. So this act basically divides these sectors into two segments. One is pertaining to manufacturing of production, manufacture or production of goods, and the second is for rendering or providing services. So these are the two bifurcations which are provided. With respect to manufacture or production, the investment in plant and machinery, if it does not exceed 1 crore, then it would come within a enterprise. If the investment in plant and machinery uh, is from 1 crore but does not exceed 10 crore, then it would be a small enterprise. And further, its turnover also should not be more than 50 crores. This is the requirement for a small enterprise. And similarly, for a medium enterprise, the investment in plant and machinery should not exceed 50 crores and turnover should not exceed 250 crore. So any enterprise whose turnover does not exceed 250 crore and investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 50 crore would be covered under the medium enterprise. So these are the three classifications of a micro enterprise, small enterprise, and a medium enterprise. And if they fall within these categories, they can be registered as a micro, small, and medium enterprise under the Act and can avail of several benefits and schemes of the state as well as the central government. In fact, under the Act, the uh, the Act constitutes a national board for micro, small, and medium enterprise, which uh, consists of the minister in charge of the ministry or department of the central government, having control of the micro, small, and medium enterprise, and also minister of state, having the control of the micro, small, and medium enterprise. So there's a national board for micro, small, and medium enterprises, specifically providing out with schemes and beneficial policies in order to ensure that these micro, small, and medium enterprises grow and there is competitiveness, and also the large scale sectors do not take over the entire share of these small, micro, and medium enterprises, and they get a level playing field, because it is very important for these sectors to grow in the country. Also, what is a very salient feature of this act is that uh, there is a facilitation council which is provided for in every state, which uh, addresses the disputes arising out of in supply of goods or services rendered by the MSME sector. And this is a very important part of this act, because this provides for uh, facilitation of disputes by way of conciliation and arbitration, and is and the services can be uh, availed of even by making an online application in MSME Samadhan portal, which is provided by the MSME on the MSME website as well. So under the prescribed form, an application has to be made to the MSME Facilitation Council, which is also known as Micro and Small Enterprise Facilitation Council, which decides on the disputes where, if, for example, if MSME sector, a manufacturer or even a service provider has provided some goods and the buyer has purchased the goods or has availed of the services, and if he does not make the payment within the prescribed time, which is prescribed either in the invoice or uh, if it is in the contract, then what is the mechanism is prescribed from section 15 to section 18 of the act, and which is we are going to discuss forward in this.
So, Jeet, I think it was a long description, but I think there is still more to it because MSMEs are a very big segment. They are one of the biggest employer in the country, and most of these industries which are in the MSME segment are the labor-intensive industry. So they employ a lot of these laborers more than the specific large industries that we have in India. So it's a very important segment of our business, which are governed by a certain MSME Act, which we are discussing today. Um, One of the biggest problem the MSMEs faces with regard to the payments. For example, if they have to go to a bank will have a lot of requirements that hey, they have to have minimum threshold, etc. They have to have a GST number. They have to have MSME registration certificate. There are a whole lot of document required, but it is not. I would say it is not as much as the large industry licenses are required. So it's a lot easier, but it is important for the MSME person who want to establish an MSME segment to know all these things, which are very basic in nature, much easier than setting up a large industry. And the second problem the MSME segment would face, I would say, in terms of collections and when they supply, what is the guarantee when they will get the payment. So with this, I will ask you this question, what are the provisions in the act to facilitate the MSME players if the production is done, supply is done, with regard to goods and how they get paid. I think you can throw some light on that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, yes. Under the MSME Act 2006, Chapter 5, which starts from Section 15 onwards, provides for the delayed payment to micro and small enterprise, and wherein if any supplier has supplied any goods or rendered any service to any buyer, the buyer has to make payment on or before the date agreed upon between them, and the said time period can in no circumstances exceed 45 days from the accept date the delivery of the goods or services have been given by the MSME. So within 45 days from the date on which the delivery of good has taken place or the services have been rendered, from that date till 45 days, the payment has to be done by the buyer. And if the payment is not made within this 45 days, then the buyer will have to pay compound interest with monthly rest to the supplier, which is three times the bank rate notified by the Reserve Bank. So Reserve Bank's notified bank rate is if 6%, then the buyer will have to pay the MSME 18% compound interest with monthly rests. So that's a huge amount and huge interest which can be levied by the MSME sector and the banks under the MSME Act. Therefore, if the buyer fails, then the provision, the mechanism which is mentioned under the MSME Act is that it provides for a micro and small enterprises facilitation council, and an application has to be made, a reference has to be made to this micro and small enterprise facilitation council, which would first attempt to conciliate, which is in a way try to negotiate and find a solution. And if the buyer is ready and willing to pay with the interest, then the matter gets resolved. Otherwise, the matter is referred for arbitration, and the amount which the buyer will have to pay thereafter will be 18% interest with monthly rates. That are the provisions which are prescribed under the MSME Act. There is a high limit of interest which otherwise is never seen in any other enactment, and this is three times the interest charged by the Reserve Bank. So therefore, this is in a way a deterrent, so that any buyer who purchases from us from an MSME sector or an enterprise has to ensure that he makes the payment within the prescribed time. Otherwise, the MSME Facilitation Council can impose a interest at the rate of 18% with monthly rests. So therefore, the buyers have to make regular payments to the MSME sector, and otherwise there are heavy interest and penalty which can be imposed upon the buyers who don't pay within the time prescribed. And this is a very important mechanism because unless the MSME sector receives their payments regularly, they would be in a better position to pay to their laborers and to other sectors from which it buys or receives any services or goods. So therefore, this ensures that smooth running of the MSME sector or the liquidation crunch does not happen.
So, Jeet,
So that is the purpose why such provisions are prescribed.
I have one question here with regard to the collection. Is there a process for setting up the invoicing so that from the beginning of the cycle, the authorities are aware that, hey, this guy has launched, given his invoices at this time, and this is overdue by after 45 days. The customer is so and so party. So, is there a complete track which is kept, or is it that the MSME has to approach with the invoice copies to the authorities? How does this work?
So while making a reference to the Facilitation Council, those invoices and copies of the delivery of goods or services will have to be provided. And basically, the MSME enterprise will have to first show that this was the order received from this buyer, and in pursuance to which this is the delivery made on this date, and these were the terms and conditions which were agreed upon, and therefore the invoice was raised. And if the date is mentioned that within 15 days or 20 days the payment is to be done, then if within that time the payment is not made by the buyer, then the MSME enterprise can approach the Facilitation Council through an online application as well. And the jurisdiction of that Facilitation Council is where the seller, the supplier, is located, and the buyer can be in any part of the country. If suppose the buyer, the seller, the supplier is based in Ahmedabad, then the facilitation center, which is in Gandhinagar, he will have to make an application there, and the supplier can be in any part of the country. And the jurisdiction is given with the MSME Facilitation Council in Gujarat, which can adjudicate upon the dispute and direct the supplier, the buyer, to make the payment with so and so interest. And if that is not done, then that becomes a decree of the court and can be executed as a decree, and which has an effect of an order passed by a court of law. And there is a prescribed time limit, because any application or reference which is made to the Facilitation Council has to be decided within a period of 90 days. And there's a mandatory period prescribed, and the authorities have to decide within a period of 90 days and have to direct the uh, buyer to make the payment to the MSME sector. So there are strict provisions, and within time limit, the Facilitation Council has to act, and therefore is a very effective mechanism provided for MSME sector and enterprise under the MSME Act 2000.
So this is with regard to the collection process, which has been set very strictly, as you said, Jeet, is that there are lots of checks and balances. So people who are indulging in or who are part of the MSME segment in India, they can be rest assured that the provisions of the act are adequate, and they are giving enough security to the MSME players. Um, and as I said, Jeet, this is a very large subject. In order to understand the entire in entirety, probably we can discuss this more detail, break it down into multiple sessions. And as we know, Jeet, the law is also changing. It's pending approval in the parliament, where they want to change the classification of the MSMEs also. So I think there will be some changes there. But I think in today's world, in COVID, MSMEs are having a lot of credit issues. Government is trying to resolve those, but I think still a lot to be done. What is your opinion on that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the provisions are in place, but its implementation and execution is also very important. And we see sometimes that even very well-intentioned legislation is a lot of times not properly implemented and its execution lacks. And therefore, it creates some hurdles and problems for this sector to grow to its fullest extent. But if there is proper implementation and execution of all the schemes and policies and also the provisions of this act, then full potential of MSME sector can also be reached. And you are right that a lot is yet to be done. And this sector is absolutely important. And certainly we can have more discussions on this act as well as on this MSME enterprise and sector. And yes, but yes, a lot has to be done, especially after COVID now with the changing times. Uh, we will have to see how things develop and how things unfold in the economy. So yes, a lot has to be is required to be done yet.
So, Jeet, it was a wonderful talking to you today, understanding more in depth about the MSME Act, which was passed in 2006. I think the new act is still pending in the Parliament. So, we'll see how when it comes out. We will cover that on our program. But I think next week on Thursday, we can probably discuss about MSME issues with regard to go-to market, because MSME is also responsible for about 40% of export business until last year. So I think we can discuss more about go-to-market facilities, from the legal standpoint, of course, things like collection, is the letter of credit applicable? So there could be thousand other questions our viewers would have. So I would like to ask viewers to post their questions if they have regarding MSME, and we will have Jeet answer those questions in the next session. And but next session would be largely on the go-to-market activities and where the government is helping the MSMEs. So with this, I would like to say goodbye to you, Jeet. Any last word you would like to add?
Okay. Yes, thank you, Chandrakant. Certainly, we will discuss about this next time. And it was nice talking to you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeet. Have a nice day.